Hello, I'm Clare Lopez, a senior fellow at the Center for Security Policy and one of the members of Team B2, a group of authors sponsored by the Center who together wrote the recently published study, Sharia, the Threat to America. Among the Sharia-linked threats described in our book is that posed by the Iranian regime in Tehran. The Clarion Fund's new film, Iranium, addresses this threat, one of the most critical currently facing U.S. national security and international stability. The Free-Thinking Film Society of Ottawa, Canada, was to have screened Iranium at the National Library and Archives of Canada in Ottawa the evening of Tuesday, the 18th of January. But the screening was canceled after the building was shut down by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in response to complaints and perhaps even threats of protests were received. Surely, the Canadian government acted out of genuine security concerns. But the fact that some of those complaints reportedly came from the Iranian embassy in Ottawa means that an exercise in free speech was effectively shut down in a democratic free society that is Canada by a regime that engages directly in terrorism, is moving inexorably closer to a deliverable nuclear weapons capability, and brutally suppresses the free speech and human rights of its own people. Which gets us to the nature of this regime and why nuclear weapons in the hands of the Iranian mullahs are so dangerous. Iran's own constitution commits it to jihad to spread its revolution and Sharia to all the world. In fact, the Iranian regime shares the very same two principal objectives as its Sunni allies, Al-Qaeda and Hamas, among others: reinstate the caliphate, or the imamate, and impose Sharia on the entire world. Vilayat-e-Faqih is Ayatollah Khomeini's own invention, but it closely echoes the doctrinal Islamic goal of a society completely subordinated to Islamic law. Then an overlay of Shiite beliefs in the Mahdi, the return of the 12th Imam, means, as former Ambassador John Bolton, a U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, has said, for those who believe in this ideology, Armageddon is not a deterrent, but an incentive. Once the very dangerous nature of this regime is understood, it becomes clear why weapons of mass destruction of any kind in its hands are also so dangerous. Recent reports about possible Israeli, United States war in the shadows versus Iran's nuclear weapons program give hope that the program can be slowed down. There have been a variety of accidents, assassinations, defections, kidnappings, and sabotage, such as the computer virus Stuxnet worm, that maybe collectively have bought us some time. But without external support and assistance, it will be extremely difficult to replace this regime with one that truly meets the aspirations of the Iranian people and is democratic, secular, pluralist, tolerant, and eschews terror and weapons of mass destruction of all kinds. Absent such support or any meaningful checks on its behavior, this Iranian regime marches on. Witness, for example, the disturbing recent events in Lebanon, which now, to all intents and purposes, is under Hezbollah and Iranian hegemony, and may be serving as a launching pad for terror abroad. Iranium, therefore, is a film that must be seen. It can help to inform the policy discourse on how best to meet the challenge this Iranian regime continues to pose. Fred Litwin, the very determined president of the Free-Thinking Film Society in Ottawa, Canada, and the Government of Canada itself are both pledged to reschedule a showing of the film Iranium soon in Ottawa, promising that they will stand up to defend the liberties we all hold dear, in particular that of free speech. Stay tuned.